Elvis Presley, the rise and fall of the king of rock and roll. He was more than just a singer. He was the heartbeat of a generation, the sound of rebellion in the 1950s, and the man who turned music into an earthquake. Elvis Presley didn't simply perform songs, he transformed culture. With his unique voice, wild moves, and undeniable charisma, he became the king of rock and roll. But the crown was heavy. Fame made him adored and worshipped, but it also broke him. Behind the lights and glamour was a man fighting loneliness, heartbreak, and addictions that would one day destroy him. Childhood of poverty and dreams. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935, in a tiny two-room house in Tupelo, Mississippi. He wasn't meant to be alone, he had a twin brother, Jesse Garing, who was stillborn. That loss haunted his mother, Gladys, and made Elvis even more precious to her. The Presleys were poor, struggling through the Great Depression, but music filled their lives. Elvis grew up surrounded by gospel in church, blues from African American neighborhoods, and country music on the radio. As a boy, he was shy and often teased for being different. He dressed unusually, loved flashy clothes, and had long hair for the time. Music became his escape. At 11, he received his first guitar. He had wanted a bicycle, but that guitar was destiny disguised as disappointment. He practiced endlessly, listening to local musicians and experimenting with different styles. The birth of a star. In 1948, his family moved to Memphis, Tennessee. There, Elvis soaked in the city's vibrant music scene, blues clubs on Beale Street, gospel choirs, country stations. By 1953, he mustered the courage to walk into Sun's studio and record a song as a gift for his mother. Sam Phillips, the studio owner, was always looking for a white boy who could sing like a black man. In Elvis, he found him. In 1954, Elvis recorded That's All Right. Radio stations played it, and phones rang off the hook. Audiences couldn't believe this new voice, raw, emotional, and unlike anything before. It was the spark that ignited rock and roll. The revolution of the 1950s. By 1955, Elvis had signed with RCA Records. His first single with them, Heartbreak Hotel, became a massive hit. Soon, the world knew his name. He performed on national television, and his gyrating hips caused outrage. Cameras were even told to film him only from the waist up on the Ed Sullivan Show. But censorship only fueled his fame. Teenagers loved him, parents feared him, and the press couldn't stop writing about him. Elvis wasn't just singing songs, he was breaking barriers. His music blended black and white traditions at a time of racial segregation. He admired black artists like B.B. King and Big Mama Thornton, and he brought their energy into the mainstream. For many, he was a dangerous figure. For others, he was the future. Hollywood and stardom. Soon, Hollywood wanted Elvis. His first movie, Love Me Tender, 1956, made him a box office success. Then came Jailhouse Rock, which gave the world one of the most iconic dance scenes in film history. Elvis's movies often had simple plots, but his charm carried them. By the early 1960s, he was one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. But fame was exhausting. His schedule was relentless: movies, albums, tours, appearances. He had little privacy. Paparazzi followed him everywhere, and fans surrounded his home. Even when he smiled, inside he was struggling. The Army and a new chapter. In 1958, at the height of his fame, Elvis was drafted into the U.S. Army. Fans feared it would kill his career, but it only added to his mystique. Stationed in Germany, Elvis lived a quieter life. It was there he met Priscilla Beaulieu, a teenage girl who would later become his wife. He also developed a taste for prescription pills, pep pills to stay awake and sleeping pills to rest. It was the beginning of a dangerous cycle. When he returned to America in 1960, he was still adored. His voice had matured, and hits like Are You Lonesome Tonight? And It's Now or Never showed his emotional depth. But the music world had changed. The Beatles, Bob Dylan, and others were rewriting the rules. Elvis seemed trapped in Hollywood's grip, making formulaic movies and soundtrack songs. Critics mocked him, and his artistry was questioned. The '68 comeback special. By the late 1960s, Elvis was fading. But in 1968, everything changed. His televised comeback special shocked the world. Dressed in black leather, holding his guitar, Elvis sang with fire. Songs like If I Can Dream revealed his passion and soul. Fans screamed like it was 1956 all over again. That night, Elvis proved he was still the king. Las Vegas and the 70s. The 1970s brought Las Vegas sparkling jumpsuits, dramatic stage shows, and roaring crowds. Songs like Suspicious Minds and Burning Love became new hits. He sold out arenas, performed for presidents, and became one of the most recognized men on earth. But behind the glitter was pain. His marriage to Priscilla ended in 1973, leaving him heartbroken. He loved her deeply, but fame and lifestyle destroyed their relationship. Elvis adored his daughter, Lisa Marie, but his personal struggles grew worse. He leaned more on prescription drugs, taking dozens of pills a day. They controlled his moods, his energy, his sleep. His once slim figure grew heavy, and his health declined. Yet even when bloated and exhausted, his voice could still silence a room. The fall of a king. By the mid-1970s, Elvis was a shadow of himself. His concerts were inconsistent, some brilliant, some chaotic. Fans noticed his slurred speech, his forgetfulness. The pressure of being Elvis Presley, the most famous man alive, was unbearable. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley was found unconscious in the bathroom of his Graceland mansion. He was only 42. The world was stunned. The official cause, heart failure, worsened by years of drug abuse. The king was gone. The legend lives on. But Elvis never truly left. Within hours, rumors spread, some claimed he faked his death to escape fame. Even today, conspiracy theories say Elvis lives in hiding. These stories only deepened his legend. More importantly, his music endured. From Can't Help Falling in Love to Blue Suede Shoes, his songs remain timeless. His influence is felt in rock, pop, country, and beyond. Artists from the Beatles to modern stars have cited him as inspiration. Graceland became a place of pilgrimage, attracting millions of visitors each year. Statues, impersonators, films, and documentaries keep his memory alive. Elvis isn't just an icon of the past, he's part of culture forever. The man behind the myth. Behind the legend was a man who loved gospel music, who read spiritual books, who gave generously to strangers, and who longed for simple peace. He was funny, kind, but also insecure. He carried the burden of fame like a heavy chain. Elvis Presley's story is a lesson about the cost of greatness. He rose from poverty to change music forever, but fame consumed him. His life was both glorious and tragic, a symbol of how the brightest stars burn out too soon. More than 45 years after his death, Elvis Presley is still the king. The king of rock and roll. The king of an era. The king of a dream that music could change the world.